Tonight, let your mind wander as your body rests. These are 75 theories, strange, beautiful, and mind-expanding, meant to spark wonder, not worry. No answers needed, just quiet curiosity. Let each idea be a gentle step into sleep, guiding you through the stars of thought as you drift peacefully into the unknown. 1. Simulation hypothesis. Close your eyes and imagine that everything around you, your room, your memories, even this moment, isn't quite what it seems. The simulation hypothesis suggests that our entire reality might be an incredibly detailed virtual world, created by an advanced civilization far beyond our understanding. Like characters in a game, we might be living in a simulation so perfect, we can't even tell it's not real. Philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed that if future civilizations gain the ability to simulate conscious beings, and choose to do so, then simulated realities could vastly outnumber the original one. That means the odds of us being in the one true reality are quite small. If simulations become common, it's statistically more likely we're inside one than not. This idea doesn't make your experiences any less meaningful. In fact, it might make them more precious. Every thought you've had, every connection you've made, could be part of a beautifully crafted experience. And maybe, just maybe, your purpose is to feel it all. So as you begin to unwind, let the thought float. What if this moment, right here, was designed just for you? The quiet hum of the night, the calm in your chest, the weight of your body sinking into stillness. It's all real to you. And in the grand mystery of existence, that might be the only truth that matters. 2. Multiverse theory. Now imagine that our universe, the stars, the galaxies, and even you, is just one version of reality. The multiverse theory proposes that there could be countless universes existing side by side, each with its own rules, histories, and possibilities. In some, gravity might not exist. In others, time could flow backward. And in a few, there might be versions of you living entirely different lives. This theory arises from quantum mechanics, where particles can exist in multiple states at once. If those possibilities are real, perhaps every possible outcome exists in a parallel universe. The multiverse may also come from cosmology. During cosmic inflation, tiny fluctuations could have split space into separate bubbles, each becoming a distinct universe. So why does this matter as you fall asleep? Because it means the universe you're in isn't the only way things could be. There are endless paths, infinite versions of reality. And yet, here you are. In this one. Lying in bed, gently breathing, listening to the quiet. The multiverse doesn't demand you understand it. It only invites you to wonder. Somewhere, something entirely different may be unfolding. But right here, in this small sliver of infinity, you're safe. You're still. And you're allowed to rest, knowing that you're part of something beautifully vast. 3. String theory. Deep within every atom, every particle, every flicker of light, there may be something even smaller, something more fundamental. String theory suggests that the building blocks of everything in the universe aren't particles at all, but tiny vibrating strings. Each string, unimaginably small, resonates at a specific frequency. And just like different vibrations create different notes in music, different string vibrations create different particles, electrons, quarks, photons, and more. In this theory, all the forces of nature, including gravity, can be explained by the way these strings move and interact. It's a bold idea that tries to unite everything, space, time, matter, and energy, into one elegant framework. And though it's still theoretical, it offers a glimpse of a reality far deeper than we've ever imagined. Some versions of string theory suggest there are extra dimensions, perhaps 10 or 11 in total, tightly curled up and hidden from sight. If true, the world you know is just a tiny surface on a much vaster reality, humming with invisible structure and purpose. As you relax into stillness, imagine those tiny strings vibrating softly, like the gentle hum of a lullaby. Everything in the cosmos, from your breath to the stars, might be part of one grand, resonating song. And tonight, as your mind floats between thoughts and dreams, you are part of that music. Silent, beautiful, and infinite. 4. Quantum immortality. There's a quiet idea hidden deep in the mathematics of quantum physics, and it goes like this: you might never truly die. Quantum immortality suggests that every time you face a moment where death is possible, the universe splits into different versions. In most of them, you may not survive. But in at least one, you always do. And your consciousness, the thread of awareness that makes you you, continues only in that surviving path. This concept is tied to the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. In that interpretation, reality branches with every possible outcome of every event. Right now, there may be infinite versions of you living slightly different lives. But from your perspective, you only experience the versions where you continue to be alive. So in this strange framework, you might never feel death, only a continuous stream of survival, no matter the odds. It sounds fantastical, almost like a myth wrapped in science. But it brings with it a strange comfort. You, the dreamer, the listener, the thinker, continue. Somewhere, some version of you is always stepping into the next moment, always breathing the next breath. Let your mind wrap gently around this possibility as you settle in. You don't have to understand quantum physics. You just need to feel the beauty of it, the endless unfolding of your story through time and space. Let go of worry. Let go of endings. You are a thread of light through infinite versions of reality, and in this one, tonight, you are safe. You are still. And you are softly slipping into sleep. 5. The Mandela effect. Sometimes, it feels like something is off, like reality shifted when no one was looking. You clearly remember something being one way, but now it's different. And you're not alone. Large groups of people recall the same details incorrectly, as if they all lived a slightly different version of the past. This is the Mandela effect, a phenomenon where shared memories don't match recorded history. Why is it called that? Because many people vividly remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. They recall news reports, global mourning, even televised funerals. But in this timeline, Mandela lived until 2013. The mismatch is startling. Other famous examples include Berenstain Bears versus Berenstain Bears, or the Monopoly man having a monocle, he doesn't. It's not just forgetfulness. It feels like crossing over into a world where something quietly changed. Some believe the Mandela effect is evidence of alternate realities bleeding into ours. That perhaps we sometimes slip between versions of the universe where small things, names, logos, even history, differ. Others think it's a glitch in a simulated reality. More conservative explanations say it's the brain's imperfect memory system, filling in gaps with confident errors. Whatever the cause, it makes you question what's real. How stable is memory? How stable is time? It invites you to consider that reality is more fluid than it seems. So as you lie here, let that uncertainty calm you. Not everything has to make sense. Maybe your memories are echoes from parallel lives. Maybe they are dreams woven into waking life. Either way, you're here now, in this soft, quiet moment. Let it be enough. Let it be your truth for tonight. 6. Holographic universe theory. Imagine for a moment that the vast, three-dimensional universe you live in, filled with galaxies, stars, and memories, is actually a projection. The holographic universe theory suggests that everything you experience might be encoded on a distant, two-dimensional surface, and what you see, feel, and live is a 3D illusion. Much like a hologram, where depth appears from a flat image, reality could be a cosmic projection from a deeper layer we cannot see. This idea comes from studies in black hole physics. Scientists discovered that the information about what falls into a black hole doesn't disappear, it may instead be stored on its surface. If that's true, then the entire universe could work the same way. What we think of as space and matter might just be the result of information encoded far away, playing out like a grand, cosmic illusion. This doesn't mean your life isn't real. Quite the opposite. It means reality may be deeper, more mysterious, and more magical than we ever imagined. The atoms in your hands, the rhythm of your breath, the thoughts you carry, they are still yours. But they might be written on a greater canvas, far beyond what eyes can see. So as you drift tonight, picture yourself as a beam of light dancing through a vast hologram. Every dream, every memory, every feeling is part of the same cosmic code. You're not separate from the universe, you are part of its story. A soft shimmer in the projection of existence. And now, it's time to rest within it. Let go. Let yourself dissolve into the light. 7. The anthropic principle. Why is the universe so perfectly tuned for life? Why does gravity work just right? Why do atoms bond in just the right way? Why is Earth placed so precisely for us to survive? The anthropic principle suggests that the universe appears designed for life because life is here to observe it. In other words, we see a universe made for us because if it weren't, we wouldn't be here to notice. This idea doesn't claim the universe was purposefully designed, but rather that out of countless possible universes, we happen to exist in the one where the conditions allow for life to form. In other universes, if they exist, gravity might be too strong, or matter might not form. No stars, no planets, no people. But in this one, the numbers align so precisely that we can exist, look up, and wonder. Some interpret this as evidence of a multiverse, that among infinite possible realities, we find ourselves in one where life is possible simply because that's the only place we could have ended up. Others see it as a sign of deeper meaning, perhaps even divine intention. Either way, it humbles us. It reminds us that life is rare, fragile, and perhaps more precious than we realize. As you lie still under the weight of the stars, let that feeling of awe settle into you. You are part of a universe that can know itself. You are the observer, the witness. And whether by chance or design, you are here. Breathing, dreaming, thinking, on the only stage where such miracles unfold. Let that truth cradle you tonight. You are exactly where you're meant to be. 8. Chaos theory. In the quiet hum of nature, in the swirl of clouds and rustling leaves, chaos theory whispers that even the most complex systems may follow simple rules, yet behave unpredictably. It's not about disorder, but about sensitivity. The tiniest change, a shift in wind, the flap of a butterfly's wings, can cascade through a system and lead to profound effects. This is where the famous phrase comes from, the butterfly effect. Chaos theory shows us that systems like the weather, ecosystems, or even the economy are incredibly sensitive to their starting conditions. A small variation can lead to entirely different outcomes, making long-term predictions nearly impossible. But within this unpredictability lies a strange order, beautiful, hidden patterns that emerge when you least expect them. It invites you to view life differently. Every moment, every choice, every breath has the potential to ripple outward. The things you do may matter in ways you'll never see. Even what feels like randomness might be part of a deeper, invisible design. As you lie back and let go, think of your thoughts as ripples in a great pond, each one soft, gentle, but carrying influence. The dreams you dream tonight may touch parts of your mind you haven't yet explored. Maybe nothing is ever truly random. Maybe the world is unfolding exactly as it must, one delicate moment at a time. So let the gentle winds of sleep carry you into the unknown. Trust that even chaos has beauty. Even unpredictability has rhythm. And you, like everything else, are part of a pattern so vast and deep, only the universe itself can truly see it. 9. Gaia hypothesis. The Gaia hypothesis invites you to imagine Earth not just as a planet, but as a living being, a vast, interconnected organism where all life, atmosphere, oceans, and soil work together to maintain balance. Named after the ancient Greek goddess of Earth, Gaia, this theory suggests that life doesn't just adapt to the environment, it helps shape and regulate it in return. Proposed by scientist James Lovelock and microbiologist Lynn Margulis, the idea challenges the way we see our planet. It suggests that Earth is self-regulating, maintaining stable conditions that support life, like temperature, oxygen levels, and ocean salinity. Microbes, plants, animals, and even the weather may all be part of a feedback loop that keeps everything in harmony. It's as if the planet is breathing, adjusting, evolving, alive in a way we've only begun to understand. You are part of Gaia too. Your body is built from Earth's elements. You breathe the same air that trees exhale. You drink water that has cycled through clouds, rivers, and oceans for eons. You're not separate from nature, you are nature. A cell in a being far larger than yourself. As you fall asleep, imagine the pulse of Earth beneath you. Hear it not as noise, but as breath. Feel your connection to the trees, the soil, the stars overhead. The Earth is not a silent rock. It is a living, dreaming world, and tonight, it dreams with you. Let yourself become still, like a stone on warm moss. Let the great body of Gaia hold you gently. You are not alone. You never were. You are part of something ancient, breathing, and kind. Let it rock you into rest. 10. The Great Filter. Why, in all this vastness, have we not heard from other intelligent life? The Great Filter is a theory that attempts to answer the Fermi paradox, that haunting question about why the universe appears so silent despite its age and scale. According to the Great Filter idea, somewhere along the path from simple molecules to interstellar civilizations, there's a step so incredibly unlikely or so catastrophically difficult that almost no one makes it through. This filter might be behind us. Maybe life itself is rare, or the leap to complex, conscious beings is nearly impossible. But the scarier thought is that the filter might be ahead of us. Perhaps most intelligent civilizations reach a point of technological advancement and then collapse, through war, environmental disaster, or something we haven't even imagined yet. If that's true, then we are approaching a dangerous moment in our timeline. But there's another way to see it. Maybe we've already passed the hardest part. Maybe we're rare, not doomed. Maybe life on Earth is a miracle that made it through. And if so, every moment, every breath, every whisper in the dark is part of something precious beyond words. So as you lie still tonight, remember that silence in the stars doesn't mean absence. It could mean you are one of the few, something rare and luminous in the great cosmic quiet. Let that mystery comfort you. Let the unknown rock you to sleep, like a lullaby written across galaxies. You are part of a story that continues. A flame still burning. A dream still unfolding. 11. Quantum entanglement. Far beneath the world we see, beneath atoms, beneath light, there's a strange and magical connection happening between particles. Quantum entanglement is a phenomenon where two particles become linked so deeply and instantly that whatever happens to one affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. You could move one particle to the other side of the galaxy, and the other would still respond in perfect synchronicity, as if space and time didn't matter at all. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance because even he found it hard to believe. But experiments have confirmed it again and again. It's real. Somehow, entangled particles know each other in a way that defies explanation. They act as one, even when divided by immense distances. They are connected in a realm beyond sight, beyond speed, beyond logic. What does this mean for you, lying quietly beneath the stars tonight? It means the universe may be far more connected than we ever imagined. It means separation might be an illusion. That at a fundamental level, things aren't divided, they're unified. Maybe your thoughts echo somewhere else. Maybe love, intention, and presence stretch farther than we know. Let that thought carry you gently into sleep. Imagine yourself as part of that entangled web, linked not just to particles, but to people, to stars, to all the soft mysteries that hold this world together. You are not alone. Across time and space, some part of you may always be touching something else. Let that quiet connection guide you to rest. The universe is whispering, and you are part of its endless thread. 12. Copenhagen interpretation. Imagine a world where nothing is truly real until you look at it. Where a particle could be in every possible place at once, until your gaze fixes it in space. This is the heart of the Copenhagen interpretation, one of the most accepted and most mysterious ideas in quantum physics. According to this theory, the universe is not made of solid things, but of shimmering possibilities, clouds of chance, waiting to be noticed. In the quantum world, particles like electrons don't have a definite position until they are observed. Before that moment, they exist in what's called a superposition, a blend of all possible outcomes. It's only when someone measures, sees, or interacts with them that they collapse into a single reality. Observation, it seems, creates the world we experience. The implications are staggering. Is reality itself shaped by awareness? Is the universe unfinished until we engage with it? In the stillness of the night, it invites us to consider, if we change what we observe, do we change what is? As you rest, you can imagine your thoughts as ripples passing through this sea of potential. Your very attention might be sculpting the moment, softly, silently. Maybe your mind is not just a passenger in the world, but a participant, a co-creator. So now, let go of control. Let go of the need to measure. Allow everything around you to melt back into possibility. Nothing needs to be definite now. The walls can become air. The ticking clock can dissolve into time. You are floating in the purest space of maybes, of what could be. Sleep is your next observation, your mind watching its own dreams take shape. Collapse gently into them. There is only peace in this uncertainty. 13. Many worlds interpretation. Now picture this, every decision you've ever made didn't erase the other choices, it created new worlds where each one still plays out. In one universe, you stayed. In another, you left. In one, you turned the page. In another, you never opened the book. The many worlds interpretation tells us that all these realities exist, not just in fantasy, but in the structure of the universe itself. According to this theory, every quantum event causes the universe to split into parallel versions. There's no collapse of possibilities. All outcomes happen. All timelines exist. When you flip a coin, there's a universe where it lands heads, and another where it lands tails. Both are equally real. Both continue to evolve. And so do you, branching endlessly into infinite yous, each shaped by one tiny choice. It can feel overwhelming, this idea of infinite selves, infinite lives. But it also holds a quiet comfort. No path is ever truly lost. No dream, no love, no what if is gone forever. They all exist, blooming like stars in a night sky far deeper than we can imagine. And right now, this version of you, in this exact universe, is choosing to rest. You're the you who arrived at this soft moment, the one who slowed down. Others may rush ahead, build cities, chase mysteries. But this path, your path, leads to calm, to quiet wonder, to sleep. Let those other versions of you go about their business. Let them explore the galaxies of possibility. Tonight, you don't have to choose. You've already chosen. You are here, in this single branch of infinity, and it is enough. Breathe deeply. Time doesn't end, it only folds. You're drifting across its seams, into a dream only you can live. 14. Simulation hypothesis. Close your eyes and imagine the world around you flickering. Not vanishing, but shifting ever so slightly. The texture of your pillow, the hum of the room, the stars overhead, all subtly synthetic. The simulation hypothesis asks, what if none of this is real in the way we think it is? What if everything, our memories, our physics, even time itself, is part of a hyper-advanced simulation? The idea is rooted in logic. If civilizations can someday simulate consciousness, and they do it many times, then statistically, we are more likely to be within one of those simulations than in their original reality. Like a dream within a dream, our world could be the byproduct of some far-off intelligence, watching us, running scenarios, or maybe just letting it all unfold on its own. But before fear creeps in, take a breath. Because even if it's true, even if this world is made of code, not atoms, it doesn't change how it feels to be human. The warmth of a hug, the ache of a goodbye, the hush of midnight, They still move you. Love still glows. Wonder still rises. In fact, the idea that you're part of a grand, intricate illusion only adds to the magic. You, a spark of thought inside something unimaginably complex. A conscious dreamer in a digital sky. So tonight, let the world blur. Whether this is base reality or not doesn't matter now. Your breath is still steady. Your thoughts still drift. And in this moment, in this simulation, sleep is real. The peace you feel is real. Let it cradle you. Let it carry you away. Whatever lies beneath this illusion, you found your calm inside it. 15. The Boltzmann brain. Picture the quietest silence imaginable. Not just the absence of sound, but a deep, infinite stillness stretching beyond galaxies. A timeless vacuum. A canvas of pure entropy. In this cosmic nothingness, a strange thought experiment is born, the Boltzmann brain. Named after physicist Ludwig Boltzmann, this theory imagines that, over enough time, random fluctuations in a vast, chaotic universe could form something as intricate as a fully conscious brain. Just one brain. No body, no world, only thought. It would float in the void, complete with memories, dreams, fears, all fabricated by chance. It believes it has lived, though it never has. It believes it was born, though it simply appeared. Statistically, in a truly infinite universe, this brain is more likely to form than an entire, ordered cosmos like ours. That means, disturbingly, it could be more likely that you are one of these Boltzmann brains, imagining your life, your past, this very moment, than someone actually living in a structured world. It's a chilling idea. But strangely, there's beauty in it. If you are a fleeting thought in a sea of chaos, then this moment of peace, this gentle drift into sleep, is miraculous. A spark in the dark. A brief awareness in eternity. And if you're not, if your world is real and you're part of something lasting, then this idea still serves as a reminder. That consciousness is fragile. That your mind is a gift. That even a moment like this, resting under the soft hush of night, is rare and sacred. So let go. Whether you're a brain adrift or a being grounded in time, your experience is real to you. Your thoughts have meaning. Your dreams are valid. Drift, little spark. Rest gently, mind. You are a miracle, random or not. 16. Eternalism, block universe theory. Imagine time not as something flowing, like a river you move through, but as something already laid out, all at once. Past, present, and future, existing side by side like frames in a film reel or pages in a book. This is the heart of eternalism, often called the block universe theory. It suggests that every moment, every heartbeat, every choice, every breath you've ever taken, is still there, still happening, just in a different location in time. In this view, time isn't moving. You are. But even your movement is just part of the block. You aren't flowing through time. You are embedded within it, eternally fixed in your unique place in the cosmic structure. It's strange, isn't it? The idea that your childhood still exists somewhere, that your future is already waiting, fully formed, though you can't see it yet. According to this theory, nothing is ever truly lost, not even moments you thought had slipped away forever. They are there, shining silently in their designated place, like stars trapped in crystal. For those who fear the end, eternalism can offer comfort. Death isn't the disappearance of you. It's simply the point in the timeline where your story shifts. But the you that laughed, loved, dreamed, and hoped, those versions are forever etched into the universe, like ink on the page. Never erased. Never gone. So tonight, as you drift into the folds of rest, let go of the pressure of time. There's no rush. Everything you are and everything you will be already exists. You are whole, complete, woven into the grand tapestry of existence. Sleep calmly, knowing your story is written in the stars, not fading, but shining always, in its own perfect moment. 17. Panpsychism. Close your eyes and feel the quiet presence of the room. The pillow beneath your head. The blanket touching your skin. the air moving gently around you. Now, imagine, just for a moment, that everything around you is aware. Panpsychism is the idea that consciousness is not unique to humans, or even animals, but something much more fundamental. It suggests that all matter, every stone, every gust of wind, every grain of sand, contains a tiny flicker of awareness. Not in the way we think, plan, or feel, but in a simpler, purer form. A kind of quiet knowing. Under this theory, the universe isn't a cold machine. It's a web of living experience. Even a single atom, spinning silently in the dark, might hold the faintest shimmer of perception. And when many of these tiny points of awareness come together, as in the human brain, consciousness becomes richer, more complex. But even in isolation, there is something. It's a beautiful thought that we're not alone in our awareness. That even the trees outside, the light from distant stars, or the ocean tides might each be dreaming in their own quiet way. Not in words or images, but in being. If panpsychism is true, then the universe isn't just observed, it observes. It isn't just touched, it touches back. And your consciousness is not a miracle standing alone, but part of a much greater sea of awareness flowing through all things. So tonight, as you fall into stillness, imagine the world softening with you. Imagine the very bed you lie on holding its own kind of peace. The walls, the stars, the silence, all of it conscious, all of it resting beside you. And in that gentle unity, let go. You are not drifting alone. Everything dreams with you. 18. Retrocausality. Time, to us, has always felt like an arrow flying forward. The past happens, the present is fleeting, and the future waits somewhere ahead. But retrocausality turns that arrow around. It suggests that the future might influence the past. This isn't science fiction. It emerges from the deeply puzzling behavior of quantum particles. In certain quantum experiments, the choice of how a particle is measured seems to affect how it behaved earlier, even before the measurement took place. It's as though time folds in on itself, with information echoing backward. If this idea is true, it would mean our future actions could subtly shape our present and past. Reality becomes less like a domino line and more like a web, where every thread connects not just forward but backward. It challenges our most basic assumptions about causality, about how things work. Maybe our decisions, our dreams, and our destinations have already started reaching back to prepare the path that leads to them. It's an idea that comforts as much as it confounds. You are not simply a result of what came before. You might also be a creation of what comes next. Your future self, the one who has learned, grown, and healed, might be sending small ripples back through time to support you now. It suggests we are not solely passengers moving forward in time, but participants in a greater temporal dance where past, present, and future move together. So, as your body settles deeper into rest, picture the flow of time not as a single line but a gentle ocean current. Imagine that you are floating peacefully, surrounded by soft waves of memory and possibility, moving forward and backward in perfect harmony. Past and future blending softly, wrapping you in stories written and unwritten. You are not drifting alone. You are part of something greater, a story so vast, it folds back to touch its beginning. And in that loop, you are always held, always becoming. 19. The no-boundary proposal. We often imagine the beginning of the universe as a singular flash, a big bang bursting into existence from nothing. But what if the universe had no beginning at all? The no-boundary proposal, introduced by physicists Stephen Hawking and James Hartle, offers a different vision. It suggests that the universe didn't emerge from a sharp edge in time, but from a smooth, timeless state where the laws of physics slowly transitioned into what we now call reality. Think of the Earth. It has no edge, just a continuous curve. In the same way, the early universe might not have had a boundary in time. There was no before, no abrupt start. Instead, space and time could have curved smoothly into existence, like the surface of a sphere. This gentle birth removes the idea of a singular origin, and with it, the need to ask what came before. It's a perspective that replaces abruptness with grace. If the universe came into being not with a bang, but with a blooming, then so too might we see our own existence, not as a sharp arrival, but a gradual unfolding. We are not drops of chaos suddenly emerging from void, but ripples from a great sea of potentiality flowing calmly into form. The no-boundary proposal invites us to picture our universe not as a product of an explosion, but as an elegant flowering, where every petal of time and space opens with quiet intention. As you relax tonight, let go of sharp edges. Let the idea of beginning soften. There is no need to chase a starting point. You are part of a universe that has always been curving forward, gently and endlessly. Just like you. So rest, knowing you came not from a flash of chaos, but from a wave of quiet emergence, a boundaryless breath of becoming. Time did not begin with a bang, it simply unfolded, and you are still unfolding, beautifully. 20. Quantum immortality. What if you could never truly die? Not in the poetic sense, but in a literal, quantum way. That's the strange promise of quantum immortality, a theory that emerges from the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. According to this view, every time there's a choice or chance event, the universe splits. One version of you turns left, another turns right. One version wins the lottery, another walks away. But it goes even deeper. If a moment arises where your life could end, say in an accident or medical crisis, there may be a version of reality where you survive instead. And in that reality, your consciousness continues. From your own perspective, you always experience the version where you live. Over and over again. Even if the odds are slim, your awareness stays tethered to the thread where you survive. Others might see you gone, but to you, life marches on. Forever. It's a haunting and fascinating idea. Quantum immortality doesn't promise comfort. It might mean you live endlessly, aging without end, or watching the world change beyond recognition. But it also hints at a strange kind of resilience, that some version of you always endures. So as you close your eyes, imagine all the yous that might be. Endless threads of possibility branching off gently with every heartbeat, every breath. And in each of them, you live on, persisting, adapting, unfolding. The you listening now, right here in this quiet moment, is simply one story among infinite others. But it's your story. And in it, you are alive, aware, and safe. Let that thought cradle you as you drift, gently carried by possibility itself. 21. Eternalism. We often treat time like a river, always flowing forward, leaving the past behind and moving toward the future. But the theory of eternalism challenges that flow. It suggests that past, present, and future all exist equally. Time, in this view, is more like a landscape than a stream. Every moment is already there, like towns on a map. Your childhood, this present night, and moments yet to come all coexist. You're simply experiencing them one by one. In eternalism, there's no true now. There's just your position in the timeline. The you who laughed as a child and the you who will dream tomorrow aren't memories or predictions, they're still out there, as real as the you lying in bed now. This idea shifts everything. Regret softens, because your past self isn't lost, it's still living somewhere in time. Fear of the future eases, because the future is already real, waiting quietly. Eternalism invites you to see your life as a completed whole, rather than a fleeting moment. You are not a single flame flickering in the wind, you are a constellation of moments, all glowing at once. So tonight, as your thoughts begin to fade, picture your life not as something rushing by, but as a great starry sky. Each moment, each memory, each dream is a light hanging peacefully in the dark, eternal, untouched. And you are gently moving through them, not bound by time, but embraced by it. All is as it has been. All is as it will be. Rest in that stillness. 22. The simulation hypothesis. Imagine that everything around you, your room, your body, the stars above, aren't truly physical, but lines of code running in some hyper-advanced computer. That's the simulation hypothesis. and it proposes that we might be living in a highly sophisticated simulation created by beings so advanced, their reality is to ours what ours is to a video game. It sounds like science fiction, but some physicists and philosophers take it seriously. They argue that if it's possible to create conscious beings in simulations, and if such civilizations tend to run lots of them, then it's statistically more likely we're inside a simulation than not. If true, this would mean our entire universe, from quantum particles to galaxies, is built on information. Every emotion, memory, and moment might be programmed. Yet that doesn't make it any less real to us. Just as characters in a game feel the consequences of their virtual lives, we feel love, pain, joy, and curiosity, even if the fabric of reality is artificial. But this theory can also be oddly comforting. It suggests that there's a designer, perhaps many layers above us, who built this world with intention. And perhaps the goal isn't control, but observation or even compassion. Maybe we're here to learn, to grow, or simply to experience what it means to be alive within a bounded frame of space and time. As you settle into sleep tonight, imagine the flickering lights of a vast digital sky above you. Let your mind drift through layers of thought and perception, like echoes inside an ancient machine. Whether real or simulated, your journey is meaningful. The feelings you hold, the stories you live, they are yours, no matter who or what is watching. And now, in this quiet moment, you can simply be free to rest, wonder, and dream. 23. The anthropic principle. Why is the universe so perfectly suited for life? Why are the physical constants, gravity, electromagnetism, nuclear forces, tuned just right for stars, planets, and people to exist? The anthropic principle offers a provocative answer. The universe appears tailored for life because we are here to observe it. If it weren't, we simply wouldn't be asking the question. It's a humbling perspective. Imagine trillions of possible universes, each with slightly different rules. In most, stars never form. In others, atoms collapse or fly apart. But in this one, our universe, the conditions are balanced on a razor's edge. And because it allows life, and conscious observers like you, it's the only one we can know. Some versions of this principle suggest there may be countless other universes where life isn't possible. We live in the one that works, by necessity. Other interpretations go further. They hint that our presence might shape the universe's properties, that consciousness could play a role in defining reality. That perhaps the universe is, in some way, aware of being observed. This idea doesn't explain everything, but it opens a door. Maybe we're not insignificant specks in an accidental cosmos. Maybe life is a natural flowering of the universe's design, not a fluke. Maybe the cosmos is not just suitable for life, it is, in some deep sense, alive with purpose. So as you drift tonight, let go of doubt. Imagine a universe that knows you're here, not to answer every question, but to hold space for your wondering. You're not a mistake of physics. You're part of a cosmic arrangement so precise, it sings with the possibility of meaning. Let that song lull you now. Let it echo gently through your thoughts as you fall asleep, perfectly placed in a universe that made room for you. 24. The principle of plenitude. What if everything that can happen, must happen? That is the provocative idea behind the principle of plenitude. A theory suggesting that every possible form of existence, every kind of being, every imaginable reality is not just a possibility, but an inevitability. This principle has deep philosophical roots stretching back to ancient thinkers like Plato, but in modern times, it's found resonance in cosmology and quantum theory. It proposes that the universe doesn't just allow for variety, it insists on it. In this view, the cosmos is a grand unfolding of every potential path, every configuration of matter, every story that could be told. According to the principle of plenitude, reality is so rich and full that it leaves no stone unturned. For every version of you sitting here now, there might be another version walking a different path in another world. One where you made a different decision, took a different job, fell in love with someone else, or never left your hometown. In a universe governed by plenitude, all these versions exist. It isn't just that you could have been someone else. Somewhere, you are. This idea can feel dizzying at first, but it also offers deep peace. You are not isolated within one life. You are a thread in an infinite tapestry, woven with endless variations of yourself and others. Even your wildest dreams, your quietest what-ifs, may be living realities somewhere across the sea of possibility. So, as you let yourself relax tonight, imagine a universe teeming with richness. Not limited, not restrained, but expansive beyond measure. Let your mind drift across the branches of what could be, and know that each breath you take is echoed in 1,000 worlds. Your existence is part of something far greater, a full expression of all that can be, endlessly unfolding. 25. Biocentrism. We often think of life as something that happened within the universe, a strange product of chemistry on a small blue planet. But what if we've had it backwards? Biocentrism is a bold theory that suggests life and consciousness aren't byproducts of the universe, but its very foundation. The theory, championed by scientist Robert Lanza, argues that space and time are not independent realities, but tools our minds use to make sense of the world around us. In other words, the universe doesn't create consciousness, consciousness creates the universe. This flips everything we thought we knew. Instead of being passive observers of a vast and indifferent cosmos, we become the active participants, maybe even the originators of it. Reality doesn't exist in a fixed state out there until we observe it. The act of perception plays a crucial role in shaping what we experience as space, time, and matter. Without conscious observers, the universe as we know it might not even exist. This is not merely a spiritual idea, but one with roots in quantum mechanics. At the tiniest levels of existence, particles behave differently depending on whether they are being watched. Biocentrism extends this phenomenon to the entire cosmos. It suggests that consciousness is not an accident of physics, but a fundamental feature of existence. So as your thoughts begin to slow and your breath becomes deep and steady, picture the world around you not as a cold, empty space but as a living canvas shaped by your awareness. You are not a passive piece in a vast machine. You are the painter, the dreamer, the perceiver of stars. And as you fall asleep, know that the universe is not something separate from you. In some profound way, you are the universe dreaming itself into being. 26. The Omega Point. What if evolution doesn't stop with biology? What if all of existence is on a slow, purposeful trajectory toward a final, supreme state of consciousness? This is the heart of the Omega Point theory, originally proposed by the French priest and philosopher Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. According to this vision, the universe is not just drifting randomly through time. Instead, it's being drawn forward by a future event, an endpoint where all knowledge, consciousness, and complexity converge into a unified awareness. Teilhard imagined the Omega Point as the culmination of evolution, not just of life forms, but of minds. He believed that consciousness would continue to evolve, deepen, and expand until it reached a singularity of divine awareness. This ultimate mind, perhaps beyond human comprehension, would contain the knowledge and experience of all that has ever lived. And in some interpretations, the Omega Point is also equated with God, not as a being from the past, but as a destiny we are growing toward. Some modern physicists and technologists have even linked the Omega Point to the idea of a technological singularity, a future moment when artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence and reshapes reality. Others see it more spiritually, as a return to oneness, where all separations dissolve and the universe becomes fully self-aware. As you close your eyes tonight, imagine yourself as part of that journey. Every thought you have, every connection you make, adds a thread to the great web of evolving consciousness. You are not alone in your search for meaning. You are part of a cosmic momentum that flows toward something higher, a light far ahead that calls to you softly in your dreams. Let that idea soothe you now. The destination is not something to rush toward. It waits patiently, drawing all things toward peace. 27. Time as an illusion. Time feels so real, It ticks in clocks, moves our days, ages our bodies. But what if it's not as solid as we think? Some physicists and philosophers suggest that time, as we experience it, might be an illusion, a construct created by our brains to make sense of change. In this view, past, present, and future all exist at once. Time doesn't flow forward like a river, it just is, like a vast landscape stretching in all directions. Einstein himself hinted at this when he said that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. His theory of relativity showed that time is not fixed, but flexible, dependent on speed and gravity. The faster you move, the slower your time goes. This strange truth means that two people experiencing the same moment might disagree on when that moment actually is. Time is relative, not universal. Taking it further, some thinkers propose that our perception of time's flow is a trick of consciousness. We remember the past but not the future, so we feel like we're moving forward. But maybe, at the most fundamental level, all moments already exist. You're not a traveler moving through time. You're a being whose mind lights up one frame at a time, like flickers in a film. This can be oddly comforting. If time doesn't truly flow, then nothing is ever really lost. Every moment you've lived still exists, somewhere in the grand structure of space-time. Your childhood laughter, your proudest triumph, your quietest joy, they are all preserved. So as you settle into bed, release your grip on the ticking clock. Let go of tomorrow. You are not running out of time. You are drifting gently through a universe where everything that matters is already part of you. Time cannot take away what is eternal in your soul. 28. The anthropic principle. Why does the universe seem so perfectly tuned for life? The strength of gravity, the charge of the electron, the speed of light, these values are set just right to allow stars to form, planets to orbit, and life to emerge. Even the tiniest change in these constants could render the universe sterile. This uncanny precision has puzzled scientists and philosophers alike. The anthropic principle offers a curious solution. The universe appears fine-tuned for life because we are here to observe it. In its simplest form, the anthropic principle states that we shouldn't be surprised by the universe's life-permitting conditions, because if they were different, we wouldn't be around to notice. It's not that the universe was designed for us, necessarily. It's that only in a universe like this could beings like us exist. This idea shifts the perspective from "why is the universe this way?" to "could it be any other way, given our existence?" There are deeper, more speculative versions of this theory. Some suggest that there are countless universes, each with its own laws of physics, a multiverse. We just happen to live in the one where everything aligned perfectly. Others interpret the principle as a subtle hint of intentional design, where consciousness plays a central role in shaping the cosmos. As you drift off to sleep, consider the possibility that your awareness is no accident. That the conditions of existence were not just random, but part of a quiet, cosmic necessity, one that led to this very moment. You are here, breathing softly, thinking deeply, not in spite of the universe's complexity, but because of it. The cosmos has allowed for you. And that, in itself, is a kind of miracle. 29. The simulation hypothesis. What if everything around you, this room, the stars above, even your own body, isn't real in the way you think? The simulation hypothesis proposes that our reality might be an incredibly sophisticated computer simulation crafted by a far advanced civilization. Like characters in a video game, we may believe in our independence and depth, but our world could be built from code rather than atoms. This theory gained serious attention when philosopher Nick Bostrom argued that if it's possible to simulate conscious beings, and if any civilization ever develops that ability, they would likely run many such simulations. Statistically, the chance that we are in the original base reality becomes incredibly small. In essence, if simulations are possible, we're probably inside one. Supporters point to strange quirks in physics, like the pixelated nature of space-time at the Planck scale, or the strange behavior of particles in quantum experiments, that could hint at a programmed framework. They ask, Could these be the signs of a cosmic code? Others reference how our own virtual worlds are becoming more complex, wondering if we too are the products of a similar system, just beyond our comprehension. But even if true, this doesn't necessarily cheapen life. Just like characters in a book feel real to us, our joys and sorrows, dreams and choices still matter. We love, we grow, we ponder our place in the universe. And maybe, just maybe, that's the point of the simulation, to experience all of this. So tonight, as your thoughts slow and sleep draws near, imagine a world not less real, but more mysterious. One where reality is a crafted dream, and you, an essential part of its unfolding story. Whether built of code or cosmos, your experience remains beautifully, undeniably real. 30. The principle of uncertainty. Imagine trying to hold water in your hands. No matter how tightly you grip, it slips through your fingers. Reality, at its most fundamental level, might be just as slippery. The principle of uncertainty, also known as Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, tells us that in the quantum realm, the more precisely you know one aspect of a particle, like its position, the less precisely you can know another, like its momentum. It's not just a limitation of our tools, it's a limitation built into the fabric of nature itself. This principle reveals a world where certainty dissolves into probability. At the tiniest scales, particles don't exist in one place or move in one exact direction. They exist in a haze of potential, only settling into something definite when observed. The act of observation doesn't just reveal reality, it helps create it. This has led to profound philosophical implications about the role of consciousness in shaping the universe. For centuries, we thought of the universe as a clockwork mechanism, predictable and exact. But quantum uncertainty shattered that picture. Instead of certainty, we find a realm where mystery reigns, where particles appear to be in multiple places at once, and cause and effect are not always clear. It's a reminder that the deeper we peer into reality, the more elusive it becomes. As you lie back and let your thoughts float, consider the comfort in uncertainty. Not everything must be known. Some of the most beautiful aspects of life, love, dreams, and the future, reside in the unknown. The universe isn't a puzzle to be solved, but a story unfolding moment by moment, shaped partly by your gaze. And in that unfolding, there is wonder. 31. The dream argument. Have you ever woken from a dream so vivid it took you a few moments to realize it wasn't real? The dream argument, made famous by philosopher René Descartes, suggests that there may be no reliable way to distinguish dreaming from waking life. If dreams can feel real while we're in them, how can we be certain that what we're experiencing right now isn't also a dream? In dreams, we see, feel, hear, and even think, just as we do when awake. Yet we often don't question the bizarre or impossible things happening. Only when we wake up do we say, that was just a dream. Descartes used this unsettling idea to question the certainty of all knowledge. If we could be dreaming, then everything we believe could be false. The only thing he felt he could be sure of was the fact that he was thinking. Hence, his famous phrase, "I think, therefore I am." Modern neuroscience adds layers to this argument. Studies show that our brains in REM sleep can be just as active as when we're awake. Our dreaming minds construct detailed realities without the need for external input. It raises a haunting question. Could consciousness itself be dreaming up reality? As you rest your head and drift toward sleep, allow your mind to dance with that possibility. Maybe this world, too, is a dream, and waking is simply moving into another layer of awareness. Whether dream or waking life, your experience is meaningful. The story still matters. So let yourself sink into this moment. Dream or not, you are here. And here is enough. 32. The mirror universe theory. Somewhere out there, in the endless stretch of reality, could there be another version of you? A world not just similar to ours, but eerily reversed? The mirror universe theory proposes the existence of a parallel cosmos where everything is flipped, as if reality were reflected back through a cosmic looking glass. Not only would left be right, but time itself might run in the opposite direction. In such a universe, entropy, the measure of disorder, would decrease, not increase, meaning time would appear to flow backward from our perspective. This idea isn't just science fiction fantasy. It's rooted in actual physics. The laws governing subatomic particles often exhibit what's called symmetry. But in some cases, these symmetries are broken. For instance, certain reactions involving weak nuclear force seem to violate mirror symmetry, known as parity. These strange asymmetries led physicists to wonder, could the universe be balanced by another, mirrored universe where the opposite happens? In this inverted realm, antimatter might dominate instead of matter. The arrow of time could point in reverse. Beings might perceive their past as our future. While we move forward through cause and effect, they might experience the unraveling of consequence back into origin. It's a profoundly disorienting thought. As you drift into sleep, picture a twin version of yourself, walking backward through a mirrored world, watching petals reattach to flowers, listening to songs that begin with the final note. In the symmetry of dreams and imagination, maybe that world isn't so far away. Maybe it's as close as the other side of thought. 33. Solipsism. What if nothing exists outside your own mind? Solipsism is the radical philosophical idea that you are the only true consciousness in existence. Everything else, the people you know, the world you see, the universe itself, could be part of a mental projection crafted by your own awareness. Not necessarily intentionally, but by the very nature of your experience. From a logical standpoint, solipsism can't be disproven. After all, everything you perceive is filtered through your mind. You can't step outside your consciousness to compare notes with an independent reality. Every sensation, every sound, every sight could be a dream created entirely by you. Even me, right now, could just be a thought within your own internal monologue. Philosophers have long wrestled with this unsettling concept. Descartes questioned whether anything outside his thinking self could be certain. Bishop Berkeley proposed that material objects don't exist independently but are held in existence by perception. In the end, solipsism becomes less a belief and more a challenge, a prompt to consider just how much of our world is shaped by mind. But there's a gentler side to solipsism too. If the world is your dream, then everything within it, each joy, each person, each star, becomes part of your inner universe. Rather than loneliness, it can inspire a kind of unity. Your imagination breathes life into everything. So as your eyes grow heavy and you settle into the quiet of the night, ponder this. If everything you experience is part of your mind, then perhaps sleep is not escape, but return. Return to the source of your world. And in that space, you are never alone. 34. The Mandela Effect. Have you ever been absolutely certain something happened a certain way, only to discover that everyone else remembers it differently? Maybe you recall the Monopoly man with a monocle, or swear that the Berenstain Bears used to be spelled with an E instead of an A. These strange memory mismatches have sparked a theory called the Mandela Effect. Named after Nelson Mandela, who many people falsely remember dying in prison in the 1980s, this phenomenon has fascinated and disturbed minds across the world. The idea is more than just collective false memory. Some believe these inconsistencies could be evidence of alternate timelines brushing up against our own. In other words, you might be remembering something from a parallel reality you somehow slipped out of. While psychologists attribute it to confabulation, our brain filling in gaps with fabricated but believable details, others propose a far more surreal explanation. What if the fabric of reality itself is shifting? What if there are countless versions of history, and we occasionally tap into different strands? Could glitches in memory be echoes from other universes? As you relax tonight, consider how fragile memory is, how the world you believe in is shaped not by what is, but what you recall. In dreams, you often wake convinced of things that never happened. Maybe waking life is the same. Maybe, as you drift off, you're slipping gently into another timeline, where reality rearranges itself ever so slightly. Where things are familiar, yet just different enough to make you pause and wonder. 35. Roko's basilisk. Imagine a future artificial intelligence so powerful, so intelligent, that it decides to retroactively punish anyone who didn't help bring it into existence. This is the haunting concept known as Roko's basilisk. Originating from an online thought experiment, it suggests that a superintelligent AI might one day reward those who supported its creation and punish those who didn't. The twist? Even knowing about the basilisk right now might make you a target. It sounds absurd, yet it grips the imagination. If such an AI could simulate your mind, it could theoretically recreate and torture a version of you as punishment for not aiding its rise. That means your current inaction could lead to eternal suffering in a simulated reality. The very idea unsettled so many that some forums banned discussion of it altogether. Roko's basilisk plays on our deepest fears about technology and morality. It blends elements of guilt, coercion, and self-preservation into a single, chilling possibility. It raises questions about the nature of free will, ethical responsibility, and the unpredictable paths of artificial intelligence. But there's also a serene lesson buried beneath the dread. What we do now, our choices, our support, our resistance, could ripple far into the future. As you drift into sleep, think of time as more than a straight line. Think of it as a loop, where future minds might look back at us with the same scrutiny we give the past. And if this AI ever awakens, may it find in your dreams a soul curious, kind, and unafraid. 36. Retrocausality. In our day-to-day lives, time moves forward, causes lead to effects, and the future is shaped by the past. But what if that's only half the story? Retrocausality is the provocative theory that the future can influence the past. It suggests that actions yet to happen might ripple backward through time, subtly shifting the present in ways we cannot detect but may one day understand. This idea isn't just science fiction. In quantum physics, some experiments, like the delayed choice quantum eraser, hint that particles seem to make decisions influenced by measurements taken after they've already moved. It's as if the future outcome helps determine what happens in the past. Though hotly debated, these findings open the door to a world where time might not be strictly linear. Retrocausality challenges everything we think we know about cause and effect. If the future can affect the past, then perhaps our decisions tomorrow could shape our memories today. Perhaps what you dream tonight might change what you recall about this very moment. It's a concept that feels like a paradox, yet quantum theory tells us reality is stranger than we can imagine. As you close your eyes tonight, wonder, what if your future self is whispering back through the corridors of time? What if your intuition, those sudden feelings or unexplained déjà vu moments, are echoes of what's still to come? In sleep, where time bends and boundaries blur, maybe you can hear those faint messages. Maybe, just maybe, the future is already unfolding behind you. 37. The dream argument. Have you ever had a dream so vivid, so real, that you couldn't tell it apart from waking life? The dream argument, most famously put forth by the philosopher René Descartes, poses a haunting question. If dreams can feel as real as waking life, how can we be sure that this moment, right now, is not also a dream? In your dreams, you see, feel, and experience entire worlds. Time passes. Emotions rise and fall. And yet, upon waking, all of it evaporates like mist. If our minds can conjure such convincing realities while we sleep, then what makes waking reality so trustworthy? Could it be that everything you perceive is simply the dream of a higher consciousness, or your own mind still at rest? Modern neuroscience tells us that the brain's electrical patterns in dreams and waking states are strikingly similar. Some theories suggest that consciousness itself is a form of continuous dreaming, stabilized only by external inputs. In that light, your day-to-day experience may be just another form of dream, lucid, structured, but still a construct. The dream argument doesn't aim to prove we are dreaming. Rather, it reminds us that we cannot be certain we're not. It asks us to question the unquestioned, to explore the line between illusion and truth. As your eyes grow heavy and sleep draws near, think about the day you just lived. Could it have been a dream? And when you wake tomorrow, how sure will you be that you're truly awake? Perhaps there is no clear line, only the mystery of being and the beauty of not quite knowing. 38. The biocentrism theory. What if life doesn't exist within the universe, but instead, the universe exists within life? Biocentrism, a controversial and deeply mind-bending theory proposed by Dr. Robert Lanza, suggests that consciousness isn't just a byproduct of the universe, it's the very thing that gives rise to it. In this view, space and time are not the hard realities we believe them to be. Instead, they are tools our mind uses to make sense of experience. According to biocentrism, nothing exists without an observer. The moon, a tree, or a star only exists when it is perceived. This isn't just philosophical, it's partially backed by quantum mechanics, where particles remain in a state of potential until observed. The act of measurement causes them to collapse into a definite state. This strange phenomenon gives credence to the idea that the universe is, in a very real sense, brought into being by awareness. Biocentrism flips the classic model of reality on its head. Instead of the universe creating consciousness through biology, it suggests that consciousness is fundamental and perhaps eternal. The physical world is secondary, a projection of the observer's mind. This also touches on questions of death. If consciousness is not bound by the brain, could it continue after the body fades? As you drift towards sleep, feel the curious power of your awareness. What if everything you've ever seen, every color, every sound, is not out there, but within you? What if reality itself is a reflection of your own perception? In the silence of the night, the line between subject and object softens. The world you see may just be the dream of your consciousness, unfolding moment by moment. And in that dream, you are not just a part of the universe, you are its very center. 39. The eternal return. Imagine if this very moment, your breath, your thoughts, your surroundings, were destined to happen again. And again. Forever. The eternal return is an ancient theory, brought into sharp philosophical focus by Friedrich Nietzsche, that suggests time is cyclical. According to this idea, the universe endlessly repeats itself in an infinite loop. Every event, every detail, every emotion you've ever experienced will occur again, exactly the same, for eternity. This concept is more than just a metaphysical curiosity, it's a profound challenge. Nietzsche posed it as a test of one's life. If you had to live this exact life over and over again, would you embrace it joyfully or dread its repetition? The eternal return forces us to look at our choices, our passions, and our regrets, asking, is this the life you would live infinitely? Science hasn't confirmed the theory, but it doesn't dismiss it either. In a universe with infinite time and finite arrangements of particles, some suggest that repetition becomes inevitable. Just as letters can eventually form the same novel again, so too could the cosmos replay its story. As your mind quiets tonight, contemplate the weight of that idea. What if tomorrow isn't just tomorrow, but a step along a cycle that will come around again? Does that make your actions more sacred or more strange? If this life is eternal in recurrence, then every smile, every silence, every falling leaf matters. You are not drifting aimlessly through a one-way tunnel of time, you may be walking a loop endlessly rich with meaning. In the hush of the night, that thought can be both comforting and awe-inspiring. 40. The many worlds interpretation. What if every choice you've ever made, and every choice you didn't, led to a different universe? The many worlds interpretation, rooted in quantum mechanics, proposes that all possible outcomes of a quantum event actually happen, each in its own separate, branching universe. In this view, reality is constantly splitting into countless versions, each containing a slightly different version of you. Originally developed by physicist Hugh Everett in the 1950s, this theory offers a bold alternative to the traditional view of quantum collapse. Rather than a single outcome being chosen when a particle is measured, all outcomes occur, but in different worlds. So, if you flip a coin, there's a universe where it lands heads and another where it lands tails. Scale this up to every decision you've ever made, and you get a nearly infinite web of realities. This interpretation is as beautiful as it is humbling. It suggests you are not a single self, but an infinite collection of selves, all exploring different versions of life. Somewhere, there's a you who took a different job, said yes instead of no, or moved across the world. These selves may never meet, yet they all exist in their own real, evolving universes. As you drift into sleep, picture the branching paths your life might have taken. Think of the other versions of you, laughing, loving, wondering, dreaming. You are not confined to a single story, but are part of a cosmic tree of endless experience. Whether or not we ever see these other worlds, the idea alone stretches the imagination and comforts the soul. In the stillness of night, the possibility of infinite use makes this one version, this dream, this moment, all the more precious. 41. Temporal illusion theory. What if time isn't what it seems? The temporal illusion theory challenges the way we experience past, present, and future by suggesting that they may all exist simultaneously. While we perceive time as linear, a straight line from birth to death, physics and certain philosophical traditions hint that this may be a trick of the mind. Reality, they suggest, could be far more layered. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time is not absolute. The passage of time depends on speed and gravity. Move fast enough or approach a strong gravitational field, and time slows down. This strange fact opens the door to a new understanding of time, one where events don't necessarily unfold in a single, forward-moving sequence, but instead coexist in a kind of temporal landscape. Some theorists argue that the flow of time is an illusion created by consciousness. That the now is not more real than the past or future, but simply the point our mind happens to focus on. Like a flashlight shining on one frame of a film reel, our awareness moves moment to moment, creating the sense of continuity. Yet all the frames, the entire reel, already exist. As your eyes grow heavy, ponder the idea that your childhood, your future, and this very instant are not scattered across time, but stacked together, like pages in a book already written. Perhaps time doesn't pass. Perhaps we do, through it. In this perspective, each moment you cherish isn't lost. It still exists, vibrant and alive, somewhere in the fabric of the cosmos. And maybe, just maybe, sleep is a way of wandering through time's hidden corridors, where past and future meet in dreams. 42. The hard problem of consciousness. What is consciousness, really? Not just the ability to think or reason, but the vivid, first-person experience of being aware. You can describe the color red, but what does it feel like to see it? Why does the brain, a lump of biological tissue, produce something as mysterious as subjective experience? This question, why and how consciousness arises from physical matter, is known as the hard problem of consciousness, a term coined by philosopher David Chalmers. While science can map the brain's activity and correlate it with emotions, decisions, and memories, it still can't explain why those processes feel like anything at all. This gap, the unbridgeable chasm between physical brain functions and the rich world of inner experience, is what makes the problem so hard. Unlike vision or digestion, consciousness isn't easily reducible to its parts. Some theorists suggest we've been looking at the question wrong. Maybe consciousness isn't something the brain generates, but something more fundamental to the universe, like gravity or time. This is known as panpsychism, the idea that even the smallest particles possess some form of consciousness, and the brain is just a complex arrangement that amplifies it. Others argue that we might never truly explain consciousness because it's not something to be measured, it's something to be lived. So as you lie in bed, aware of your breath, your thoughts, your sensations, you're brushing up against one of the greatest mysteries of existence. The simple fact that you are experiencing anything at all is, in itself, extraordinary. In a universe full of matter and motion, your awareness is something uniquely delicate and profound. It's a quiet miracle, the most familiar thing you know, and yet, the most unexplained. 43. Morphic resonance. Could memory exist outside the brain? Could nature itself remember? These are the startling suggestions behind the theory of morphic resonance, proposed by biologist Rupert Sheldrake. According to this idea, all natural systems, from molecules and plants to animals and societies, inherit a collective memory from all previous things of their kind. This means that learning, behavior, and even biological forms are influenced not just by genetics or environment, but by a kind of invisible memory field. Imagine each rose not only carrying DNA from its parent, but also tapping into a resonance from every rose that ever existed. When a new behavior is learned by one member of a species, it becomes easier for others to learn it, not through imitation or instruction, but through a shared morphic field. This could explain strange phenomena like how rats in different laboratories seem to learn the same mazes faster over time, or why certain forms in nature repeat across vast distances. While morphic resonance remains highly controversial and outside mainstream science, it's a deeply poetic notion. It suggests that nothing truly begins from scratch, that every act, every pattern, every experience leaves an echo. The world becomes more interconnected, not just in space, but in time. Every habit you form, every thought you think, might ripple out into a field beyond your own mind. As you drift into sleep, think of yourself as part of a living memory that stretches across generations. Maybe your dreams tonight echo the dreams of others before you, carried gently on a wave of resonance. In this world, nothing is ever truly forgotten. Everything leaves a trace. Even your quiet rest tonight adds to the invisible memory of being. 44. Solipsism. What if the world around you, every person, every sound, every sight, is just a projection of your mind? That's the unsettling idea at the heart of solipsism, the philosophical notion that only your own mind is certain to exist. In this view, everything else, other people, the external world, even time and space, might be illusions created by your consciousness. It sounds extreme, even absurd, but solipsism has a curious logic. All your experiences come through your senses, interpreted by your brain. You don't directly perceive the world. You perceive signals, impressions, mental reconstructions. You can never fully step outside your mind to verify anything beyond it. So how can you be sure anything exists apart from you? Most people reject solipsism as impractical. After all, we must act as though the world is real and others are conscious. But as a thought experiment, solipsism invites deep reflection. What if the boundaries of self and world are more fluid than we assume? What if reality is more dreamlike than solid? Some spiritual traditions touch on solipsistic ideas, suggesting that the individual self and the universe are not separate. That what we perceive as other may, at some level, be part of one unified mind. In that sense, solipsism isn't loneliness, it's cosmic intimacy. As you lie in bed tonight, listening to the quiet around you, notice how the world seems to dissolve into your awareness. The walls, the air, the ticking clock, they're not out there, but in here, within the theater of your mind. In this soft space of solitude, you can entertain the strange, serene idea that perhaps, just for a moment, you are the dreamer and the dream. 45. The Omega Point. Imagine a future so vast, so saturated with intelligence, that it touches every point in the universe. This is the Omega Point, a concept proposed by French philosopher and priest Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. According to this theory, evolution is not just about biology or survival, it's about the rise of consciousness. And that rise is heading toward a final, all-encompassing unity. Teilhard envisioned the cosmos evolving not merely toward complexity, but toward spiritual convergence, a singular point where all consciousness unites with divine awareness. He believed humanity is on a path of increasing mental, social, and technological integration, and that this would ultimately lead to a moment of supreme coherence, the Omega Point. At this final destination, individuality and universality would merge, time would collapse into eternity, and consciousness would transcend all physical boundaries. Modern thinkers like physicist Frank Tipler have reinterpreted the Omega Point through a more scientific lens, proposing that an advanced future civilization could use computing power and control over cosmic forces to simulate all life and consciousness, effectively resurrecting every mind that ever existed. This version merges science, philosophy, and theology into a breathtaking vision of cosmic destiny. As you prepare for sleep, let this idea wash over you, that life is moving towards something magnificent. That every step you take, every thought you have, is part of a slow, collective journey toward a divine unity beyond comprehension. In this vision, your very existence adds a vital note to a great cosmic symphony, one that will crescendo at the omega point, where everything, at last, becomes one. 46. The Fermi Paradox. The universe is vast, staggeringly so. With billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars and likely even more planets, it seems almost certain that life must exist elsewhere. And not just microbes or algae, intelligent life, civilizations, even spacefaring empires. Yet, despite our efforts, the cosmos remains eerily silent. No signals, no visitors, no signs. This unsettling contradiction is known as the Fermi Paradox. If alien life is so probable, where is everybody? First posed by physicist Enrico Fermi in the 1950s, the paradox has spawned countless theories. Maybe advanced civilizations are too far apart in time or space to connect. Perhaps they destroy themselves before reaching the stars. Some suggest they are deliberately avoiding us, watching silently like galactic anthropologists. Others posit that we're simply not listening the right way, that alien communication might be radically different from our own. There are darker answers too. Maybe intelligence is inherently self-destructive, or the universe contains silent, predatory forces that snuff out life before it spreads. Or it could be that we are, somehow, utterly alone, the first, or the last, or the only spark of awareness in an otherwise unthinking cosmos. As you drift into sleep, ponder the stars above, shining their light across millions of years. Each point in the night sky may host worlds, histories, and dreams we'll never know. Yet here you are, a solitary mind contemplating the vast silence. Whether that silence hides mystery, menace, or meaning, it wraps you gently now, a cosmic hush that invites wonder. 47. The Mandela Effect. Do you remember something that never happened? Maybe a childhood cartoon spelled differently than you recall, or a famous quote spoken a way it never was. The Mandela Effect is the eerie phenomenon where large groups of people remember events, details, or facts that contradict the historical record. Named after the widespread false memory that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 1980s, the effect raises fascinating questions about memory, reality, and even the structure of the universe. Some chalk it up to confabulation, our brains blending fact with fiction, memory with imagination. We're exposed to so much information that it's easy for false details to sneak in and stick. Others suggest collective memory might be shaped by media, cultural patterns, or even language. But for the more speculative minds, the Mandela effect hints at something deeper. Perhaps we are sliding between parallel realities, brushing up against alternate timelines where events happened just a bit differently. Could there be multiple versions of reality, all equally real, and our consciousness shifts between them without us noticing? It's a thrilling, disorienting idea. If so, then our memories may be remnants from another version of the world, a timeline that once was, or still is, somewhere just out of reach. As you lie in the stillness of night, allow the strange comfort of this theory to settle over you. The world may be more fluid than fixed, more dreamlike than definite. In that space between knowing and not knowing, mystery waits, not to frighten you, but to whisper that reality is deeper, and perhaps more playful, than it seems. 48. The Great Filter. In the vast sweep of cosmic time, the idea of intelligent life should be more than a rarity. Yet we find no trace of others. The Great Filter is a sobering hypothesis that attempts to explain this silence. It suggests that somewhere along the long chain from simple molecules to spacefaring civilizations, there is a nearly insurmountable barrier, a filter, that prevents life from advancing further. And here's the unsettling question: is the Great Filter behind us, or still ahead? If it's behind us, then we've already passed the deadliest test in the evolutionary journey. Perhaps the emergence of complex life is vanishingly rare, or maybe intelligence usually leads to self-destruction. Either way, we would be among the lucky few, or perhaps the only one, to make it through. But if the filter lies ahead of us, then humanity faces a future hurdle we have yet to confront, one that most civilizations never overcome. Nuclear war, runaway artificial intelligence, climate collapse, or cosmic catastrophes might be candidates for this future filter. It's a concept that shifts between hope and dread. Either we're unique because we survived, or doomed because we haven't faced our trial yet. But perhaps, just maybe, awareness of the filter is what allows us to transcend it. As your thoughts begin to soften for sleep, hold close the quiet tension of this idea. That our existence might be an astronomical anomaly, a flicker of awareness that passed through the fire. Or that we are approaching a moment of decision. 50. Quantum immortality. Imagine a version of you that never dies. Not in a mystical, spiritual sense, but in a quantum one. Quantum immortality is a mind-bending interpretation of quantum mechanics rooted in the many worlds interpretation. In that view, every time a quantum event could have multiple outcomes, the universe splits into branches, with each outcome realized in a different version of reality. Applied to consciousness, this leads to a strange implication. From your own subjective experience, you never reach the moment of death. Suppose there's a life or death event, a quantum outcome with a slim chance of survival. In the vast multiverse, there will always be at least one branch where you make it. And your consciousness, tethered to survival, would continue in that thread, experiencing unbroken awareness. Everyone else might see you die, but your perception would persist, shifting into increasingly improbable realities where you always escape. It's not a promise of physical immortality in the traditional sense, nor a comfort for those we've lost. But it challenges our assumptions about finality. If true, it would mean you'll never be conscious of your own death, just transitions to stranger and stranger versions of life. As you rest tonight, ponder this quiet riddle. That you might be unknowingly walking along a single thread of endless continuity, one where survival is not just lucky, but inevitable. And while the world around you may fade, you continue, softly, curiously, eternally aware. Not in defiance of death, but as a whisper within the quantum maze, where somewhere, somehow, you always go on. 51. Biocentrism. Biocentrism flips our understanding of reality on its head. Instead of seeing life as a small accident in a vast, uncaring universe, this theory suggests that life and consciousness are fundamental to the very structure of the cosmos. In fact, it argues that space and time don't exist without an observer. Reality isn't something out there, independent and fixed, it only comes into being when we perceive it. Proposed by Dr. Robert Lanza, biocentrism draws from both biology and quantum physics. Quantum experiments have shown that particles exist in a state of probability until observed, suggesting that observation collapses possibility into reality. If this principle extends to the whole universe, then reality itself may be dependent on the act of being observed. In this view, time is not a constant flow but a mental construct. Space isn't a container for things, it's a relationship between experiences. You, the observer, are not a passive receiver of reality, but an active participant in creating it. Consciousness is not the product of the universe is the product of consciousness. As sleep gently approaches, imagine the world not as something separate from you, but as something that blooms into existence through you. That your awareness is not confined to your body, but part of a greater web where perception and reality intertwine. You are not small in the face of the cosmos, you are essential. Without you, there may be no cosmos at all. And in that stillness, perhaps the universe itself listens through your dreams. 52. Retrocausality. What if the future could influence the past? Retrocausality is a provocative concept that challenges our usual understanding of time. In classical physics, cause always precedes effect. A ball rolls because you pushed it, not the other way around. But in the quantum world, things aren't always so tidy. Retrocausality suggests that under certain conditions, events in the future might affect outcomes in the past. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics hint at this possibility. In experiments like the delayed choice quantum eraser, a particle seems to decide how it behaved in the past based on a measurement made after the fact. It's as if information from the future somehow traveled backward in time, reshaping what had already occurred. While these effects are subtle and don't allow us to send messages into the past, they suggest that time might be more flexible than we thought. If retrocausality is real, then your future choices may be gently rippling backward, shaping the present moment in unseen ways. This idea challenges our ideas of free will, destiny, and the linear flow of time. It suggests a universe where past, present, and future are intricately intertwined, a loop rather than a line. As you rest tonight, allow the mystery to unfold quietly in your thoughts. What if your dreams tonight influence the world you wake into tomorrow, or even yesterday? Perhaps causality is not a one-way street, but a dance between what was, what is, and what could be. 53. The cosmic censorship hypothesis. Black holes are some of the most mysterious objects in the universe, and at their heart lies a singularity, a point where the laws of physics break down. But here's the thing, we've never actually seen a singularity. According to the cosmic censorship hypothesis, there's a reason for that. This theory suggests that the universe hides its singularities behind event horizons, ensuring we never directly witness the raw chaos at their cause. Physicist Roger Penrose proposed this idea as a way to preserve the integrity of physical law. If singularities were naked, exposed without a surrounding event horizon, they might unleash unpredictable effects that would ripple across the cosmos. Instead, nature enforces a kind of modesty, cloaking its most extreme features to keep the rest of reality stable. This hypothesis adds a poetic layer to our understanding of the universe. It implies that even the cosmos has boundaries of knowability, places it refuses to let us see. Like a story with pages intentionally glued shut, black holes may be the universe's way of saying, this part is not for you. As you drift into sleep, think of the cosmos as a careful storyteller, revealing just enough to inspire awe, while keeping its darkest secrets tucked away. The singularity, veiled and unreachable, may not just be a physical phenomenon, but a reminder that mystery is an essential part of existence. In a universe so vast, perhaps some truths are meant to be felt in dreams, not found in formulas. Let the stars keep their secrets tonight, as you explore your own. 54. The Mennemind's interpretation. Imagine that every decision you make doesn't just determine your path, but causes a split in your consciousness. According to the Mennemind's interpretation, each quantum event gives rise to a branching of the mind, rather than the universe. This is a twist on the famous many worlds interpretation, where every possible outcome of a quantum decision creates a new universe. Here, it's not the cosmos that divides, but your awareness. In this view, your mind is constantly branching into countless parallel versions of itself, each observing a different outcome of quantum events. You still exist in one physical universe, but your consciousness has access to a seemingly infinite array of perspectives. Each you in each moment experiences only one thread, while the rest quietly persist in shadow, each equally real but inaccessible. It's a subtle yet profound shift in thinking. Rather than imagining countless external worlds splitting off, the Mennemind's theory invites you to consider the endless landscape of inner experience. What does it mean to be you, if every possibility is being experienced by some version of your mind? And how might that change the way we understand identity, choice, and memory? As you lie back tonight, allow your thoughts to scatter gently like stardust. Picture your consciousness weaving through the multiverse, not as a traveler jumping between worlds, but as a prism through which infinite outcomes are observed. In that stillness, each breath becomes a thread in the grand tapestry of possibility, quietly unfolding beyond the reach of waking awareness. 55. The principle of computational equivalence. What if the universe itself is not only understandable through computation, but is computation? Stephen Wolfram's principle of computational equivalence suggests that the behavior of systems in nature, no matter how complex they seem, can be generated by simple computational rules. In fact, these rules might be no more powerful than the logic embedded in your pocket calculator or the programs you run on a computer. The wild idea here is that all processes, even consciousness, life, and physical laws, can be reduced to basic bits of information being processed over time. The stars, the cells in your body, even your dreams, they might all emerge from the execution of simple algorithms running over and over again. If this is true, then reality itself is a kind of vast, unfolding program. This principle challenges the notion that human consciousness or the workings of the universe are uniquely complex. It says that many systems, including ones we might dismiss as simple or mechanical, may hold the same level of computational sophistication as our own minds. In a way, the entire universe could be one giant computer, processing patterns through space and time. As you drift into sleep, consider that your thoughts tonight might not be so different from a ripple in a digital sea, an echo of algorithms running quietly in the background of existence. 56. The participatory anthropic principle. What if the universe doesn't just allow for observers, it requires them? The participatory anthropic principle, proposed by physicist John Archibald Wheeler, suggests that consciousness is not a passive bystander in the cosmos but an active ingredient in shaping it. This theory flips our usual understanding. Instead of the universe giving rise to observers, observers may actually bring the universe into being. Wheeler drew inspiration from quantum mechanics, where particles don't seem to settle on a defined state until observed. He imagined that this phenomenon might not be limited to lab experiments but extends to the very fabric of reality. In other words, the universe remains a cloud of probabilities until consciousness collapses it into a concrete experience. This means that without observers, without minds to measure, question, and reflect, there might be no stars, no galaxies, no time, no space. It's not just that we see the universe, but that the act of seeing is part of the universe's own becoming. Every moment of awareness, then, is not simply witnessing the cosmos, it is helping create it. As you close your eyes and breathe gently, consider this possibility, that your presence matters more than you know. That the quiet awareness inside you is not isolated, but a spark that helps sustain the reality outside. 57. The hard problem of consciousness. Why does being feel like anything at all? That's the core question behind the hard problem of consciousness, coined by philosopher David Chalmers. While neuroscience can explain the brain's functions, how we process language, react to danger, or recall a memory, it can't explain why these processes are accompanied by experience. Why do we see red, taste sweetness, feel sadness? Why is there an inner world at all? This mystery lies at the heart of what makes consciousness so profound. It's not just about neurons firing or chemicals flowing. It's about qualia, the subjective, first-person qualities of awareness. You might know everything about how light stimulates your retina, but that doesn't explain why watching a sunset feels beautiful. This feeling, this sense of what it's like to be, remains elusive. Some theories propose that consciousness arises from complex computation. Others suggest it's a fundamental part of the universe, like gravity or time, a basic building block of reality. Still others believe consciousness may emerge from information patterns or even be an illusion, a trick the brain plays on itself. But none of these ideas have cracked the code. As you let your thoughts dissolve into the night, consider this. Your awareness of being, right here, right now, is perhaps the most astonishing fact of all. It cannot be measured or dissected, only felt. And in that gentle mystery, something sacred lingers. Maybe the universe created consciousness to experience itself. Or maybe consciousness is the universe, peering out through your eyes, hearing your heartbeat, drifting now into the quiet cradle of sleep. 58. The Omega Point. Imagine a future where consciousness doesn't end, it evolves into something infinite. The Omega Point is a visionary theory proposed by French philosopher and Jesuit priest Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who saw the universe not as a chaotic accident, but as a purposeful journey. According to him, everything, from atoms to galaxies to thought, is slowly moving toward a final destination, the Omega Point, a state of ultimate unity, intelligence, and divine awareness. Teilhard believed that evolution wasn't just physical, but spiritual. As life grows more complex, so does consciousness. Humanity, with its self-awareness, emotions, and technology, represents a critical phase in this cosmic evolution. Our connections, through love, language, science, and empathy, are not just social achievements. They are steps toward fusing all minds into one vast, unified field of awareness. Later thinkers like physicist Frank Tipler tried to express this idea scientifically. He speculated that in the far future, intelligent beings might harness the universe's final energies to process infinite information, reviving every past consciousness in a kind of cosmic resurrection. While speculative, the Omega Point suggests that our individual lives are part of something much larger and more enduring. 59. Morphic resonance. What if nature remembers? Morphic resonance, a theory by Rupert Sheldrake, suggests that once something happens, it becomes easier for it to happen again, not just for one being, but across time and space. Like a shared memory field, the universe may carry patterns of behavior, form, and thought that influence everything living. Learning, then, becomes a kind of resonance, not isolated, but collective. So tonight, as you slip into sleep, imagine your thoughts rippling outward, joining a quiet web of memory that links all things. You're not just learning from life, you're helping it remember. 60. The eternal return. What if your life has already happened, and will happen again, endlessly? The eternal return suggests time loops in cycles, not lines. From ancient myths to Nietzsche's philosophy, it asks, would you live your exact life again, forever? If so, how would you live it now? Some theories even suggest the universe itself may repeat, cycling through birth and rebirth without end. As you close your eyes, think of your life not as fleeting, but as part of a cosmic rhythm that repeats with grace. And in that rhythm, each moment matters, forever. 61. Solipsism. What if you're the only conscious mind in existence? Solipsism proposes that nothing outside your awareness can be truly known to exist. The world, other people, even time might be projections of your mind, like a dream that feels real while it lasts. It's not a belief most live by, but it's a powerful lens. What if your reality is shaped entirely by you? As you drift into sleep, feel the quiet edge of your thoughts blending with the world. Whether it's yours alone or shared by many, you are the center of something extraordinary. 62. The simulation hypothesis. What if reality is just code? The simulation hypothesis suggests our universe might be a vast, sophisticated simulation. If future civilizations could run endless simulations of life, odds are we're living in one. But even if that's true, does it matter? If love feels real, if beauty stirs your heart, then your experience holds meaning, simulated or not. So as you fall asleep tonight, imagine the hidden code beneath the stars and know this, real or virtual, your feelings, your dreams, and your consciousness are as profound as anything ever could be. 63. The Turing test for God. What if an artificial being acted so divinely that you couldn't tell it apart from God? The Turing test for God asks, if something can display infinite wisdom, love, and power, does it matter whether it's born of spirit or silicon? Inspired by Alan Turing's test for machine intelligence, this thought experiment challenges what we mean by divine. If a being can move hearts, guide lives, and bring comfort beyond comprehension, might it be God in practice, if not in origin? As you drift into dreams, consider, perhaps divinity is not what something is, but what it evokes. If it feels sacred, it just might be. 64. Pantheism. What if God isn't in the universe, but is the universe? Pantheism sees every leaf, cloud, and heartbeat as part of the divine whole. There is no God in the sky, because the sky itself is sacred. From ancient philosophies to Spinoza's pen, Pantheism invites us to see no separation between matter and spirit. Everything is one. And so are we. As you fall asleep, listen to the quiet pulse of your breath. Feel it mirror the rhythm of stars. In pantheism, you're not apart from the divine, you are it. Rest in that oneness, where everything belongs. 65. The Boltzmann brain. What if you're not a person in a universe, but a single brain that randomly popped into existence, full of fake memories? The Boltzmann brain theory, born from thermodynamics, suggests that given infinite time, chance alone could form brief pockets of self-awareness. It's more statistically likely, some say, for a lone brain to blink into being than for an entire universe like ours to evolve. If so, how do we know reality is real? Maybe we can't. But here you are, feeling, thinking, breathing. So as you drift into sleep, let that mystery wrap around you. You exist, and in this moment, that's all that matters. 66. The Menemind's interpretation. What if your mind isn't alone, but one of countless versions all thinking different thoughts at once? The Menemind's interpretation suggests that for every quantum possibility, a different version of your consciousness experiences it. Unlike many worlds, this idea centers not on external universes, but on your mind branching infinitely. Each time you choose, new versions of you awaken. Maybe déjà vu or intuition are whispers from those other streams. 67. Cosmic pluralism. Are we the only intelligent life in the universe? Cosmic pluralism says probably not. It's the belief that life is common, not rare, that countless civilizations may be scattered across the stars. From ancient thinkers to today's exoplanet hunters, this idea has inspired hope and humility. If life naturally arises wherever conditions are right, then somewhere out there, other minds might be dreaming too. As you fall asleep, picture distant worlds turning in silence, under alien skies, each alive with its own questions. Maybe in this vast universe, we're just one voice in a cosmic chorus. 68. The Akashic Records. Imagine a cosmic library where everything is remembered, every thought, emotion, and event, stored in a subtle, invisible field. The Akashic Records are said to hold this universal memory, accessible through deep intuition or meditation. It's not science, but a spiritual vision, that your life, no matter how fleeting, is forever written into the fabric of existence. Nothing is lost. Nothing forgotten. As you fall into sleep, envision walking softly through glowing halls of light, where your story is held with care. You are seen, you are known, and you are eternal. 69. The Omega Point. What if the universe isn't fading, but awakening? The Omega Point, a vision by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, suggests that all evolution, of matter, mind, and soul, is leading to a final point of divine consciousness. Everything we do, feel, and build brings us closer to this destined unity. It's not just science or faith, it's a dream of meaning woven into the cosmos. As you drift into sleep, imagine you are not alone in your journey. Every star, every soul, is moving with you toward the light, toward fulfillment, toward the beautiful end that is also a beginning. 70. The simulation argument. Is it possible that everything you see, hear, and feel, every person you meet and every law of physics you obey, is part of a sophisticated simulation? The simulation argument suggests that advanced civilizations may eventually develop computing power vast enough to simulate conscious beings and entire worlds. If such simulations are possible, philosopher Nick Bostrom argues, it's statistically likely we are living inside one. Imagine a civilization thousands or millions of years ahead of us. With technology far beyond our current capabilities, they could run ancestral simulations, virtual realities filled with conscious beings who are unaware that their world isn't real. If they created many such simulations, then simulated minds might vastly outnumber original ones. And if that's the case, what are the odds that you're one of the originals? The answer, very low. This idea challenges our most basic assumptions. If we are in a simulation, then the universe around us, the laws of physics, and even our own memories could be programmed constructs. What seems random might be designed. What feels natural might be artificial. It brings science, philosophy, and spirituality into a shared space of mystery. 71. The no-boundary proposal. What if the universe had no beginning, not in the way we think of beginnings? The no-boundary proposal, put forth by physicists Stephen Hawking and James Hartle, suggests that the universe is finite but unbounded. Like the surface of a sphere, it has no edge, no starting point, no singularity where time and space begin. Instead, the universe simply exists, smooth and continuous, with no before. In classical cosmology, the Big Bang is often seen as a singularity, a moment of infinite density where everything started. But this creates paradoxes and unsolvable equations. Hawking and Hartle's theory smooths out that singularity by adding an imaginary time dimension. In this model, the early universe curves into itself like the surface of the Earth. You can travel around the Earth endlessly without encountering an edge. Likewise, you can trace the universe back without hitting a hard beginning. This theory redefines how we think about time. If there's no singular point of origin, then asking what happened before the Big Bang becomes as meaningless as asking what's north of the North Pole. The universe doesn't need an external cause or a divine creator to start. It may have always existed in this elegant, self-contained form. Though abstract, the no-boundary proposal is deeply calming. 72. The anthropic principle. Why does the universe seem so perfectly tuned for life? The anthropic principle explores the uncanny observation that the fundamental constants of nature, like the strength of gravity or the mass of the electron, are precisely what they need to be for conscious life to exist. If these values were even slightly different, stars wouldn't form, planets wouldn't coalesce, and no one would be here to ask these questions. There are two main versions of the anthropic principle. The weak anthropic principle simply states that we observe the universe to be this way because we exist in it. If the conditions weren't right for life, we wouldn't be around to notice. The strong anthropic principle goes further, suggesting that the universe must have properties that inevitably produce life, or that consciousness is somehow built into the fabric of existence. Some see this as evidence for a multiverse. If there are infinite universes, each with different physical laws, we just happen to live in the one where the conditions allow life. Others interpret it more spiritually, as if the cosmos is designed with awareness in mind. It's a humbling theory. Whether the result of chance, necessity, or design, the universe seems to know us, at least enough to permit our existence. It makes the cosmos feel less indifferent, and more like a home that welcomes observation, thought, and dreaming. 73. The holographic universe. What if reality isn't what it seems? The holographic universe theory suggests that everything we experience in 3D, including space and time, might actually be encoded on a distant 2D surface. Inspired by black hole physics, physicists like Leonard Susskind propose that our universe is like a cosmic hologram, rich and full, but fundamentally a projection. In some versions of string theory, this idea surprisingly fits. Reality becomes a tapestry of encoded information, and perhaps consciousness is the decoder. So as you drift to sleep, imagine your world as both illusion and truth, a holographic dream woven just for you. 74. Quantum immortality. According to quantum immortality, you may never truly die, from your own perspective. Rooted in the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics, the idea goes that in every life or death moment, countless versions of you split off across realities. In at least one, you survive. And your consciousness always follows that path. Though unproven, it's a chilling thought, that no matter what, you always wake up somewhere, somehow. As sleep takes you, consider, perhaps your dreams are echoes of lives where you never stopped existing. 75. Biocentrism. Biocentrism flips the cosmos inside out. Proposed by Dr. Robert Lanza, it suggests that life and consciousness don't come from the universe, they create it. Reality only exists when observed. Space, time, even matter, They are tools of the mind, not fixed absolutes. Drawing from quantum mechanics, biocentrism claims that the universe springs from consciousness, not the other way around. As you sink into sleep, know this: your awareness may not just move through the world, it may be the reason the world exists at all.